evening, ladies and gentlemen. I try to keep it light, keeping in mind that we have had a long but very enriching day so far. A lot of learnings and a lot of new data and information that we have to capture. We at Arista Networks are a leading provider of networking solutions of different types. But before we get into the technology and what we offer and bring on table, let's look at the common term and theme that we've been hearing from the morning, digital transformation. What are some of the key drivers of digital transformation and how India is faring on that front? If you look at this data, India is among the two fastest growing digital economy worldwide, only second to China in many areas, and at the number one position when it comes to digital identity creation for the Indian citizens. Today we have roughly 1.3 billion Indian citizens already registered on this database since its inception in 2009. India is one of the fastest growing mobile and internet consumer base. We have more than 1 billion people in India who have mobile phones in their hands, and 75% of those users have got smartphones. As of January 2022, there were 650 million internet subscribers in India, and thanks to governments, central and state governments, various broadband and national broadband efforts to connect the rural and farthest corner of India through wired and wireless connectivity, we'll add about 150 to 200 million more customers at the growth rate of 25% by end of this year. And coming to public sector enterprises, I think public sector enterprises are the growth engines for the digital India. And I heard in the morning from one of the elite speakers that Indian government and public sector enterprises put together have created roughly 55 unique applications for delivering various services to the citizens. And so many digital platforms and applications are giving the Indian citizen more reasons to go online, whether I have to book my gas subsidy, or whether I have to register my property purchase, or file my tax returns. And this is causing these people to generate billions of digital transactions on various infrastructure. And this is putting a tremendous load on IT infrastructure and forcing public and private both enterprises to rapidly modernize this infrastructure. Not only that, this is also impacting how people like ourselves are evolving our product technology. For example, 15 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, those decades, the applications used to have a monolithic architecture, they evolved to multi-tier, and now we are talking about microservices. Similarly, how we used to deploy these applications have evolved from a single physical machine to virtual machines, and we are looking at Docker containers now. Let's look at another component into the IT infrastructure. That is the infrastructure itself, the compute and storage capacity. They have also evolved from siloed pods to cloud-based delivery models. Even the security architectures evolved from the single machine that used to serve only one purpose to completely integrated security framework. And at the foundation of all these components is the network layer. And the network has also evolved from legacy multi-tier architecture to more open standard-based and software-defined architecture. And this is exactly where Arista comes into picture. So before I go to what we offer at Arista and how we differentiate from other networking solutions provider, I wanted to spend some time on explaining what one should look at when you are either modernizing your network infrastructure or building a greenfield network. And it could be any type of network, whether you want to connect your office over a Wi-Fi network, you want to build a data center, you want to connect multiple data centers across the national long-distance network, or you want to put a hybrid cloud strategy in place to connect virtual and physical networks across multiple different clouds. Number one, the network should support today's requirements, but it should be ready for the future. The network should be able to scale out as your traffic grows, as your requirement grows. And what I mean by scale out, how is it different from scale up, is the traditional architectures used to have so many access devices connecting various endpoints, and they used to concentrate on a core and aggregation layer. But this used to be generally a couple of big boxes. But the problem with this is that it can scale up till the time you hit the roof on the capacity of hardware. As soon as you hit the roof, you have to replace the whole devices with brand new ones. This put a huge load on TCO. And that is why you should have a scale out capabilities. What I mean by that is any layer in the network, you should be able to horizontally scale without changing the fundamental design. The number two is uptime. Now, the applications and business delivery that we have today, and some of the platforms, especially provided by public sector enterprises, they are revenue impacting in nature, and in many cases, life impacting, and they cannot afford to go down. And that is why the network connection cannot afford to go down. And this changes the whole paradigm. We have moved from the 4 nines and 5 nines to virtually 100% uptime kind of requirements from the network layer. So your network should support complete resiliency and uptime. This network should be open standard based. The Indian government is really focusing hard on creating an open API ecosystem. What it means is that it allows you to integrate with various different technologies or maybe various vendors of the same technology and get the maximum juice out of your investment. The fourth is automation. As you keep growing your infrastructure, you cannot keep throwing people at it. You cannot keep increasing your workforce to manage this massively growing and rapidly growing infrastructure. That is why you need automation. Starting from zero-day deployment to day 2 operations, you need to have a full automation capabilities. This will reduce human errors. This will save time and improve your time to market for your service delivery. The next is real-time visibility. Earlier, we used to have polling mechanisms to see what's happening in my network at regular intervals. But today's applications demand you to see what's happening at right now, which means you need to have deeper visibility and real-time state streaming capabilities on the network so that you can see what's happening with the network and what's happening on the wire in real time. And last but not the least, security cannot be anymore looked at a separate siloed piece of an IT infrastructure. Security should be fully integrated in the network, and at the later part of my deck, I will cover why I say so. And this is exactly where Arista comes into picture. Let me give you a very quick snapshot of the company so far. We were founded in early 2004. We spent 4 years building a software operating system from scratch. We started in 2008, and I'm very proud to say that today we have a #1 position in overall market share globally, including India and abroad, on high-end switching and routing platforms that support 100 gig and 400 gigabit ports. We have been a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader for data center networking for 6 consecutive years. And since last 2 consecutive years, we are leading the pack on Forrester Wave of software-driven networking. In fact, I can say that we are the only true blue blood software-defined networking company today available in the market. With 8,000 plus customers spread across various different verticals, public and private, and everything running a single operating system. These are some of the acquisitions that we had over the past couple of years. Mojo Networks provides industry-leading, it's an indigenous innovation. It's an industry-leading Wi-Fi platform, which offers Wi-Fi access points and various types of Wi-Fi network connectivity solutions. And the unique aspect of that is it has got security, basically complete wireless intrusion prevention built into it over a third radio. We acquired Metamako that offers ultra-low latency switching. It's the industry's fastest switch. The port-to-port speed is 4 nanoseconds. The third is Big Switch that offers complete monitoring and analytics capability. And last but not the least, we acquired a company called as Awake Security that talks about the integrated security, which I just mentioned a minute ago. Let's look at the whole portfolio in a very simple way. We have a lot of products starting from a small box which has got few gigabit ports which can connect to a remote branch or a small office or an access point to a very high-end device that can go in a service provider or telco core or a data center core. But the key innovation that I wanted to mention that we bring on table is the operating system and software stack. Arista Extensible Operating System is nothing but a network operating system that runs on our platforms. Unlike other providers, whether you have a small device or a large device, anything you buy from Arista, we run a single operating system. What this allows is, once you certify a particular software image for your network operations and deployment, you don't have to do it for the entire network in a separate silos. This operating system is highly programmable in nature, so you can use DevOps tools or open APIs to integrate with best-of-breed ecosystem. This operating system also has a database and a publish-subscribe model. So what it does is that every box has a capacity to store real-time state information of what's happening on it. And what we have done is that we have built on a top layer, a state-of-the-art automation layer. It streams this data in real time, and that is how we provide you with a real-time visibility of what's happening in your network across every single zone. So whether you have an office where you're using Wi-Fi network to connect your employees, or you have a data center, or you have a multi-cloud environment, or you have a national backbone network that is connecting these data centers or offices, we can manage all these networks using this single pane of glass. This also serves as an abstraction layer through which you can integrate with best-of-breed ecosystem and northbound interfaces using open APIs. CloudVision also brings some unique capabilities, like today you pay a lot of money to your technology partners to do audit and compliance checks on your networks, security vulnerability assessments on your network. But with a single click of a button, we bring these kind of services in absolutely free of cost once you have Arista CloudVision deployed in your network. These are some of the use cases that we cater to using Arista's products and solutions. Whether you, as I said earlier, whether you're building a simple data center or a small networking pod for a specific use case, or you have a cloud environment where you are connecting multiple different clouds, or you have a hybrid cloud environment where you're connecting a on-prem and a public cloud. Whether you have a routing network, you are a service provider, and you want to connect the national backbone over an MPLS or an internet backbone, you need high-end routers. Or whether you need virtual routing and switching systems, which allow you a seamless network connectivity across multiple different clouds. Or you have specific requirements of providing broadcast and video streaming services. We have specific products that cater to these needs. Or you have a big data and storage networks. Or you are looking at some sort of telco use cases like the network function virtualization. We have products and solutions that cater to all different use cases. And the beauty of the solution is that everything runs on a single operating system and can be managed using a single pane of glass. Now, coming to the security point that I mentioned earlier, security used to be a standalone device till some point in time, which used to sit on the perimeter and used to protect your network. But it no more works because you cannot protect what you don't know. You can only protect what you know. So what I mean by that is, as the networks keep growing, especially the public sector digital transformation we spoke about, as you connect wider and wider access point and devices, you're looking at connecting unmanaged devices. You're looking at connecting IoT devices. You are talking about unknown malwares. Do you know that in 2021 alone, more than 70% of India's enterprises were attacked by ransomware? And more than 10% of them ended up paying more than $1 million ransom to get out of it. I know that I'm heading my time. So Arista Awake NDR solution basically solves this problem from inside out. What we do is that we have artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to do fingerprinting of everything that is connected in the network and do behavioral analytics so that we can define and baseline what is good and what is bad. And as soon as we see something bad, we can alert so that we can be more preventive than reactive in terms of security mechanism. In summary, whether you are going to modernize your network infrastructure or you are going to build new network infrastructure, Arista can be your trusted technology partner for networking solutions. We are at the booth outside. Arista team is here. Feel free to come and meet us and ask any questions. Thank you.